So you've saved up your down payment, you've been pre-approved, you're ready to go, and then you sit down at your lawyer's office and suddenly there's all these extra numbers you weren't even expecting. Sound familiar? Today I want to walk you through all the hidden costs of buying a home in Ottawa so you're not caught off guard when it's closing time. Hey everyone, I'm Dean, your Ottawa Realtor, and this is one of those videos I really wish existed when I was first starting to help buyers or when I even bought my first home. Because honestly, a lot of people come to me knowing their down payment number, but they have no idea what they're expecting when they go to the closing day. So let's fix that today. I'm going to break it all down nice and simple so you can make it smooth. So first up, and this one surprises a lot of people, is land transfer tax. In Ontario, when you buy a home, you pay a provincial land transfer tax based on the purchase price. So on a $700,000 home, you're going to be looking at roughly $9,475. That's a real number that you need to have sitting in your account on closing day, ready to pay that. Now, here's the good news. If you're a first-time home buyer, you might qualify for a rebate of up to $4,000 on that provincial tax. So make sure you're talking to your lawyer about that and be very careful because if you've been on a loan on a previous mortgage, you do not qualify for that. One thing that Ottawa buyers have going for them compared to Toronto, Ottawa doesn't have a municipal land transfer tax. On top of the provincial one, Toronto buyers pay both. So we got it a bit better here. Next thing we got is legal fees. You need a real estate lawyer to close a purchase in Ontario, and that's actually a good thing. They're reviewing your title, making sure that there are no liens on the property, handling all the paperwork with the bank so that it all comes to a smooth transaction at the end. Now for that, you need a budget somewhere between $1,200 to about $2,500 all in for legal fees and disbursements. It varies lawyer by lawyer and by the complexity of the deal, but that's a safe ballpark. I typically see, depending on what the price of the home is too, sometimes some lawyers charge less for condos and townhomes, and they charge a little bit more for single homes and all that stuff. So take a look at what some lawyers are offering. Home inspection time. Now, please don't skip this one. A good home inspector in Ottawa is going to cost you between $400 and $600. Now, depending on the size of the home, that can also go up or down depending on a lot of different things, and it's absolutely worth every penny. I always say, if you're not sure, always get a home inspection just to make sure you know what you're buying. Now the home inspector, they're going to be checking the roof, the foundation, the HVAC system, electrical, plumbing, and everything. And these are things that you can't see during a viewing. And if they find something serious, you want to know before you own it, not after. So that's why you always want to make sure that inspection condition is always in there. Now, in a really competitive market, people sometimes feel pressure to waive inspection to win a bidding war. That's a conversation you'll have to have with your realtor based on the specific situation and depending on the neighborhood. But in general, get the inspection. That's what I always say. Title insurance is one of those things where most buyers just nod along and don't really know what it is. Basically, it protects you against issues with the title to the property. Things like old liens that weren't caught, survey problems, fraud, and all that stuff. It's a one-time fee, usually in the $300 to $400 range. Your lawyer will typically arrange this as part of the closing process. Small cost, good protection, and just keep in mind that it's going to be there. Now we're going to talk about CMHC mortgage insurance. This one is variable depending on how much you're putting down. So if your down payment is less than 20% of the purchase price, you are required to get mortgage default insurance in Canada. This is from CMHC or one of a couple of other providers. The premium is based on your loan to value ratio. If you put 5% down, your premium is 4% of the mortgage amount. On a $600,000 purchase price with 5% down, that's a premium of $22,800. The good news to all this is it gets added to your mortgage, so you're not paying for it up front, but it does increase your total mortgage amount, which increases your total monthly payment amount and your overall expenses while owning this home. If you can get 20% down, you can avoid this entirely, but if you can't, it's not the end of the world. It's just something to factor in. Also, you want to talk to your mortgage broker because the rates on insured mortgages and uninsured mortgages are very different. Keep in mind to be aware of that. A couple more to round it out, moving costs. Obviously, if you need to, obviously you're going to need to move your stuff. A local move in Ottawa can run anywhere from $500 for a small place you're doing yourself to $3,000 for a full service move on a larger home. And then there are closing adjustments. When you take possession of the home, you'll reimburse the seller for anything they've prepaid, like property tax or condo fees, for the portion of the year after your closing date. This might be a few $100s, but might be more depending on timing. On top of your down payment, budget an extra $15,000 to $20,000 to cover all these costs comfortably. It'll vary based on your purchase price, but that's a solid cushion to plan around. It can sometimes be less, and if you're a first-time home buyer, budget may be slightly less if it's a smaller home, but you'd want to be safe, so make sure you have enough to cover all these costs. And that's it. No more surprises on closing day. I want you to walk in there feeling totally prepared. If you have any questions about buying in Ottawa, drop them in the comments or reach out to me directly. I'm always happy to chat, and if this was helpful, hit the subscribe button. We put out real, honest Ottawa real estate content every single week. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next one. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next video.